Hey, welcome. We all want to make a difference, right? But big problems, they can feel impossibly complex. So, what if you had a toolkit? A set of lenses to help you not just look at the world, but to truly understand its hidden mechanics, so you can actually start to change them. I mean, really, why is it so hard? You see passionate people, brilliant ideas, tackling huge issues, poverty, healthcare, you name it. But so often the efforts just fall short. Or even worse, they backfire and create brand new problems. It feels like we're missing a key piece of the puzzle. And here's the core idea. Passion and good intentions are absolutely essential, but they're not enough. They're just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to create solutions that actually stick, you have to look beneath the surface. You have to understand the invisible mechanics, the hidden systems that are driving the problem in the first place. And that brings us to our very first tool. Think of it like putting on a powerful macro lens to see the entire big picture. We're talking about systems thinking. So, what is systems thinking? Well, it's a huge shift in perspective. It asks us to stop seeing the world as a collection of separate things and instead see it as a dynamic web of relationships. Instead of just trying to fix one part of a problem, we start to trace the connections, the feedback loops, and all the chain reactions that are actually creating the outcome we're trying to change. This visual is a great example. It shows how these ideas aren't just buzzwords. Look at how personal mastery directly fuels team learning. That, in turn, helps build a shared vision, which then shapes the team's mental models, their core beliefs. Every single piece influences all the others. The whole system is only as strong as those connections. And this leads to a few key truths about systems. First, everything is interdependent. It's like a set of gears. You can't touch one without moving the others. Second, they're dynamic. Like dominoes, a tiny push in just the right spot can create massive change down the line. Third, they are complex. Problems are tangled knots, not straight lines. And that brings us to the most important point, humility. We have to accept that we can't control the system. We can only learn from it and try to influence it. Okay, so if problems are these giant complex systems, how do you even begin to understand them without getting totally lost? Well, that brings us to our next tool. You start by mapping what you can't see. System mapping is where all that theory becomes practice. It is, quite literally, the process of drawing the problem. You create a visual diagram of all the players, their relationships, how resources flow, and those hidden power dynamics. It's how you take that tangled mess inside your head and get it out onto paper where you can actually see it clearly. And as you can see here, there's not just one way to do it. For instance, a causal loop diagram can help you spot feedback cycles, like how poverty leads to poor education, which then reinforces poverty. Or a stakeholder map helps you figure out the power dynamics, like who's winning and who's losing from the way things are right now. The whole goal is to pick the right map to make those invisible structures visible. Now, seeing that big picture map is essential, but it's really only half the story. A system is made of people. So to truly get it, we need to zoom in, way in from that macro-level system to the micro-level human experience. And this brings us to our third tool, ethnographic research. Now, this isn't about sending out surveys or running a focus group. This is about deep immersion. It's about stepping into people's worlds to understand their lived reality, their daily routines, and the stories they tell themselves to make sense of it all. And doing this reveals something crucial for any changemaker, what we call the say-do gap. We all have this idealized version of ourselves, right? We talk about what we should do. But when you observe what we actually do, you see the messy, real-world routines and all the clever workarounds we invent. For an innovator, that gap, it isn't a problem. It's an absolute goldmine of opportunity. And make no mistake, this is not just aimless wandering around. As this flowchart shows, it's a really rigorous process. It's about understanding people in their natural context, from their perspective. It's designed to uncover the why behind the what, that deep qualitative meaning that numbers alone can never, ever give you. So we have our macro lens, systems thinking, and our micro lens, ethnography. What happens when you put them together? This is where the magic happens. Let's look at how this toolkit works in the real world. Let's take the Aravind Eye Care System in India. Through that deep ethnographic work, they didn't just see that people needed cataract surgery. No, they understood the real barriers, the fear, the cost, the difficulty of traveling from rural villages, And then they used systems thinking to design an incredibly efficient, high-volume surgical model that was built to overcome those specific barriers. The result? A sustainable system that serves millions. Or look at Grameen Bank. Its founder, Muhammad Yunus, he immersed himself in the lives of poor villagers in Bangladesh. And he saw that they were resourceful, they were skilled, but they were trapped by a financial system that completely ignored them. His insight was profound. The root problem wasn't a lack of ability, it was simply a lack of access to a tiny amount of credit. So he designed a new system around that one single human insight. And the result was transformative. Grameen Bank has now served over 9 million borrowers, and the vast majority of them are women in rural villages. And get this, a 97% repayment rate. That is higher than many commercial banks. And why? Because the system was designed around the social structures that were already there. It leverages trust and community instead of collateral. The total economic impact is just staggering. Over $30 billion in loans disbursed, fundamentally changing the system of finance for the poor. It's a masterclass in combining human-centered insight with brilliant systems design. So let's bring it all together. This isn't just some abstract theory. This is a practical toolkit. These are the lenses that you can use to start creating meaningful change. So remember these 3 lenses. First, see the whole system. Use systems thinking to grasp that entire interconnected web. Second, map the invisible. Make those hidden structures and relationships visible. And third, listen to human stories. Use ethnography to truly understand the lived reality of the people at the very heart of that system. When you combine these 3 lenses, you evolve. You move from just wanting to do good to being genuinely equipped to design solutions that are effective, empathetic, and actually built to last. So the only question left is for you. What system will you try to understand first?